Morning again. And I say good morning again because for those who were with me at 9 o'clock, this is a special edition of Ignite to Impact Weekly Live. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see everyone. LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, IG. Say hello, put a hello in the chat if you're joining us. Want to hear from you. Our TikTok family isn't with us now, but they were here earlier, and I told them to come on over to LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook to join us on this special edition. Happy 2026, everyone. I hope your year has been fabulous, just a great start. And we're bringing you some really great information today. Did you all like that music? The intro music is new, it's brand new. And I must admit to you, it's something special. I created it myself. It's an original creation. So we hope you like it. Please leave your comments. Tell me what you think about the music. But we're going to be talking about leadership and what happens when you leave home and really get a super duper advantage. You can upgrade your leadership. Did you know that? Did you ever know that by leaving home, you can upgrade your leadership? That's what we're going to talk about today. And I'm so delighted because I have one of my favorite organizations with us to have this great conversation. So you remember, please put any comments or questions that you have in the chat. We'll try to get to all of them. And hear me. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me. Put a 1 in the chat. Thank you. Okay. So what did you miss? Did you miss about my new song, my new music? No, you got that right. Did you hear the part when I said that we will be talking with one of my favorite groups of all times, Leadership Women? And did you hear we're going to be talking about how you can get a special advantage by leaving home? So if you're successful, that's great. But you know that world is changing fast and you don't want to be left behind. And for that reason, we've created this conversation for you because, you know, the next level of leadership is not just another webinar. It really is about perspective. And it's important to get close to how national issues actually work. And also create a network on the national scale is tremendous to upgrade your leadership. So in this special edition, I'm graced with the presence of 4 extraordinary leaders. So let me introduce them to you now. First, let's meet Heidi Murray, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Leadership America and one of the shining stars. In fact, she was the first person that I met with Leadership America. She also directs the organization's suite of programs that they have: Leadership Texas, Leadership America, the Leadership Pipeline, Leadership Encore, and Leadership International. So she's all over the things that matter. And she's been there for more than 18 years and has shaped the programs and helped deepen the organization's impact and its relationship and its influence on critical issues. So let's say hello to Heidi. Welcome to the stage. And are you calling in here from Texas, Heidi?
I am. Good morning, Dr. Geneva. How are you? It's great to see you.
Fantastic. I am doing really great. Thanks for being here with us. And we're going to have a great conversation. Next, I want you to meet, next, I want you to meet Sarah Hammond. Sarah is the president of Atlas Electric and Air Conditioning, Refrigeration, and Plumbing Services, located, I believe, also in Texas. Is that right? Is that where Alton is? Where's Alton?
Yes, that is correct. Alton is Texas.
That's what I thought. All right. We got the Texas crew in here, in Texas. And, you know, Sarah runs an over 42-year family business. And so we're excited to have her here. And she's a graduate of Stanford University. And she also works with International Bridgelet, which is an organization that spearheads women business owners into networking and self-development. She also oversees the management of other companies, and we're just so delighted that she's here. She has an extraordinarily active role in the community, and her passion is to help women grow businesses. So welcome, Sarah.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Delighted. And then we have Doneen M. McDowell, who's homegirl here in Michigan. Come on up to the stage. And she was appointed Vice President of Manufacturing for the truck sector in July of 2024. That's GM. And she has moved increasingly into various increasingly important and elevated leadership roles in GM, in the manufacturing area, in the truck sector, all the various different vehicle assembly plants. And so she's, you know, just has an extraordinary career. And before this assignment, she was vice president of NA Labor Relations, where she led labor management relations and activities within North America. And so we're so delighted to have a female leader in manufacturing here with us and who has had experience all over the world. Welcome, Doneen. And if you'll unmute, I want to hear what you had to say. Please say that again. We want to unmute you. There you go. Please.
Thank you.
No problem. You know, hey, we in tech, it's virtual, we live, and we have fun. It's all good.
And what I said is, I'm in Flint, Michigan. I do not have the Texas weather, Heidi. Yes. But you make full-size trucks here, heavy duty.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. Delighted. And then we have all the way from California, Yamika Jones-Williams. Oh, I'm so delighted that she's here. She is an accomplished healthcare executive with over 20 years of progressive leadership experience in acute care and specialty health systems. And she is heading up a leadership position, Chief Operating Officer at Kaiser Permanente. And she started that in 2020. And she runs, let me tell you, her area includes 3 hospital foundations, 21 medical office buildings, and 3 ambulatory surgery centers, serving approximately 620,000 members. She bad, okay? And so we have her with us. Come on up, Yamika. And prior to that, she was also chief executive officer at select specialty hospitals in San Diego and Atlanta. And she just has such a strong background in healthcare, and also as an advocate for parents and families with that strong commitment to community services. And she's my soror. So, it's all good. So welcome, Yamika, here from California.
Thank you. So happy to be here.
Thank you. So see, this is an extraordinary grouping we have here today to talk about leadership for women, and what it looks like when you leave home. Now, I want you to know that as I introduced everyone, Heidi is the COO of Leadership America. So we're going to hear a little bit more about, well, what is a Leadership America? And then Sarah and Doneen and Yamika were participants, graduated from one of Leadership Women's programs called Leadership America, where they got to form this national network, but left home to upgrade their leadership. And so, we couldn't hear from a better group combination of folk. So, I'm going to start off with that question in plain English, plain language. Tell us, what is Leadership America? And anyone can jump in with this. Heidi, you want to start us off?
Well, I would love to. And it's wonderful to see you, Dr. Geneva. Thank you again for having us. We're delighted for this opportunity, and so excited to talk about Leadership America. It's a very unique program, and it is a flagship program. Leadership America is of the national nonprofit Leadership Women, and we are one of the longest running women's leadership programs in the country. We have over 50 years of continuous investment in developing women leaders. We're very proud of that. And at its core, the Leadership America program is a national leadership experience, and it expands how very accomplished women think and how they lead. So we do this by intentionally taking leaders out of their little boxes, as you mentioned, and getting them out of their homes, out of their home cities. And we create these immersive programs 3 times a year in 3 different cities around the country. And when we are there, we are an issues-based organization. So we talk about the issues that are shaping the country while also introducing them to the leaders who are working in those spaces. And the result is that the participants really are able to return home with a broader perspective, a stronger judgment about what's going on, and certainly relationships outside of their normal sphere of influence to move forward. Mm-hmm. So it works because we bring this cohort of leaders together 3 times in a calendar year. We take them to 3 different U.S. cities and really have this curated experience to talk about the complex issues that are happening today. And women that are in positions of influence and leadership really need to think about expanding that beyond just their own organization and community. And so that's what we're all about.
I love it. And so, Sarah, as Heidi describes this opportunity to expand your leadership, tell us what was happening in your leadership or career when you decided to join this extraordinary program.
Thank you so much for having the opportunity to be here with you all, such amazing women. So Leadership America for me was a program that really stretches you personally and professionally in a way that you don't get anywhere else. And I serve on a lot of boards, and I serve in many different conferences. I attend a lot of conferences, but this for me, I was carrying a lot of responsibility at home, in business, in my community, and I needed a place that I could sharpen my tools and create a stronger network. And I found that in Leadership America. It's the right place to grow as a leader. And in the season of my life, that's what I needed. And it fed me, and I'm all in. I'm drinking all the Kool-Aid.
Okay. So it helped you in terms of where you wanted to go, that next level, your growth.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Yamika, what about you? Where were you in your career and in leadership when you decided to join?
Thank you so much. And thanks again for this opportunity to speak with you all. So actually, around the time that I was applying for the program, I was actually pursuing a promotion opportunity within my organization. So I was starting an interview process for a new job. And honestly, having my first session of Leadership America that April, I had been in my job, I think, for 3 months, my new job. So it was like perfect timing for investment in myself as I took on broader responsibilities within my organization as the COO, and really just had those tools and nuggets that Sarah mentioned that I needed as I needed to kind of reestablish myself into a new role that was much broader than my previous role within the organization. So, I think the timing was perfect. It also just opened my eyes and to just experiences in these 3 vibrant cities that we visited that I had never experienced before, and connecting with the women that we had, for whether they were speakers or our classmates within our cohort. So the timing couldn't have been perfect because I was in a transition of, jobs, and really was able to take the nuggets from the sessions to be able to take those into my new role within my job.
Yeah, so that does sound like it was perfect timing.
Yeah.
So you were able to use that not only to, expand your network, but to learn about different perspectives that could help you in your new role.
Exactly.
Oh, wow. Wonderful. What about you, Deneen? How did where were you? What were you doing before you joined the program?
So I went through with the 2013 cohort, and I had just became the plant director of Detroit Hamtramck, which is now Factory Zero. And for me, what was eye-opening was General Motors actually sent 5 women that year. And so I got exposed to 4 women from other functions that I had not met before, that became my people from there going forward, that I got to leverage in my career, as well as what the other women talked about, just getting exposed kind of out, like I'm mainly manufacturing, but getting exposed to different cities. What are the major businesses? What are the economic issues? What are the community issues? And it really opened up my eyes in terms of how I can contribute more and use my platform as a leader in the community in a manufacturing site to make a difference in other aspects that I hadn't really, I guess, focused on before.
Yeah, that eye-opening experience, those ahas and things, new perspectives always seem to make a big difference, particularly as we're looking at, upgrading our career and our leadership. So we want to say there's so many folks who have joined and want to say hello. And another is one of my favorite colleagues in leadership, Dr. Trin, who's also coming in from Texas. So we love it that you're here. And so good morning. And many of these folks you all may know who are here and looking to be with you. And how you doing, Nidra? Isn't this some great information so far? And we're just getting started. I think I also saw that Lee Ellen was with us, so I want to make sure that I acknowledge her. And Lee is the chair of the board of Leadership Women, and so we're just delighted, Lee, you're joining us. And so tell me, so you go into this national program, probably had some expectations about it. What were they? What did you expect going in? But I'd really be interested what was different, what changed, what was different than maybe what you expected. Yamika?
Sure. Thank you for that. So I went in expecting to meet amazing women leaders that I would learn a lot from. Outside of my industry, it was really nice to have a program where I could, I'm in healthcare, so everything I typically do is healthcare related. So that really intrigued me to be able to meet women from all across various industry sectors across the country. So I was excited about that and learning something new outside of just my world of healthcare. And I would say also, of course, expanding the network and building upon key leadership skills, as I mentioned earlier, going into a new role, I could, really build upon my skills, knowing that I had a broader responsibility upcoming in my new role. What I think I gained that I didn't expect out of the program was, and we talked about it a little bit earlier, was the deep connection within the 3 cities that we visited during my year. I was in class 2025. We went to Boston, New Orleans, and Denver.
Okay.
And I've visited all those places before in different capacities. However, it's like I was reintroduced to those cities through the experiences we had there, the leaders we met, the programming that we had, and just the amazing work that's being done. I just got a new appreciation for what's happening in these 3 vibrant cities in our country. And honestly, it's a lot of heaviness in the world right now, and it was just very uplifting to me. It was very uplifting. Just hearing from some of the nonprofits we heard from, some of the amazing work that's being done post Katrina, obviously in New Orleans, and how the recovery and kind of that whole process worked. I mean, it was just really inspiring. And I think that was the piece I didn't necessarily know until I got in, of how much that would impact me, and some of the connections to some of the organizations that we met in the various cities.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that, just going and seeing that different perspective. But and then you also mentioned, nonprofits and other organizations that are part of a community, that make a community real and vibrant.
Right.
And I heard you say you were inspired, which often we need a dose of inspiration when we come back home. We in them leadership positions. We need that inspiration to kind of help keep us going.
Agree. It was like basically refilling my cup. That's how it felt.
Yeah.
I was refilling my cup in so many ways that I didn't expect every time I went to a session.
Oh, beautiful. So, Sarah, what changed for you? What happened? What did you go in expecting but discovered perhaps something different?
I thought I was going to just get taught skills and best practices. And, like I said, I've gone to many different conferences, but honestly, it really surprised me how personal and honest it teaches you in how you show up in a room. And it talks about your blind spots, and it forces you to understand that you belong in the room and that you need to keep showing up, and all the different ways that you can show up, and all the different women that are in all these different cities and all these different states doing the work and how they're doing it. And it's just really, really beautiful. It's just really, really beautiful. Truly, I cannot explain to you the level of education and love that you feel when you walk into the room of Leadership America.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, those are the things that we need when we're in these roles. Sometimes we can become isolated and really focused on what it is we have to do, the responsibilities that we carry, which is natural and normal. But to take that kind of time and connect with others and recognize that you're not alone in this work. There are hundreds and thousands of other women leaders who are doing incredible, extraordinary work. And we're all in this together. What about you, Danine?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything Yamika and Sarah said, and I love filling your cup. I totally agree. I think one thing that really surprised me was how connected Leadership America was to the leaders in the cities we visited. Like, we got some hands-on access to some areas I didn't think we'd get to see. And then one thing that surprised me is just in the backyard in Detroit, I met Sheila P. Clay, who was the CEO and president of Neighborhood Service Organization, which is a nonprofit. So, and I was just amazed by her in the work she did. And I know she joined in a later cohort. But, I met with her outside of Leadership America, and then I had the opportunity to sit on her board. You know what I mean? I was just so amazed by her as an individual and the power and commitment she had to change the lives of others. It's like I wanted to be a part of it. And I didn't expect that. I thought I'd meet some really interesting people. I was amazed by the people we met, and just, it is inspiring.
And, that ability to make the expected connections and then, but expand that, leverage that, going in one way, but then coming out and joining a nonprofit, and again, meeting incredible leaders who are doing wonderful things. So Heidi, I know that there are other educational opportunities out there in the marketplace. And as we hear some of these experiences that Sarah and Danina and Yamika have had, I kind of think that Leadership America is different from some of those other educational opportunities, particularly for women in the marketplace. Is that true?
Absolutely. We think so. And, some of our guests here and our graduates have kind of alluded to that. So there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of content. There's a lot of conferences. People are absorbing information and content almost 24/7, of course. I mean, it's just constant. And our program is unique in its design because it's not really just about passively receiving information. There's lots of ways that you can do that, but we specialize in experiential learning. So participants are fully engaged before, during, after each of the sessions, and these are in real world issues, not theoretical concepts, and that's great to learn about those as well. But we're really focusing on real world issues, conversations with the actual decision makers, what they're thinking about that, structured reflections. And the learning happens in that context in real time, along with your peers in the class who may be interested in impacting some of those issues or learning about those techniques or concepts, and probably are wrestling with similar leadership challenges within their own vocational areas. And so it really makes it more tangible, and it's a way to make it stick. So it's something that we find to be fairly unique in the marketplace.
It sounds that way. And so let me ask about perhaps take us into a session, one of your experiences. Take us right there, like we were right there with you. Can you tell us about a moment or a session that shifted how you see leadership? Sarah.
I wasn't sure if you were talking about. There was just so many moments that I had aha moments because of what I was hearing. These accomplished women talked about their doubts, they talked about their failures, they talked about their successes, and it made me realize that I didn't have to prove that I belonged in a room, that I already had a seat at a table. I just needed to keep being who I was and showing up, because that's what they were doing. And I remember one of the, she was a massive speaker. We think she's going to be president at some point in her life. She came in and she spoke to us. She was so powerful. I can remember seeing her and thinking, wow, she's so accomplished. I could never see myself in her role. She was just a beautiful person. She created a fund where they ended up doing a housing project for all her community, and the power that she brought forth by showing up, by taking the service, and by leading what her passion was in her community was so impactful. I kept I came back home and I thought, wow, I really need to do more for my community.
Mhm.
Like, I am not doing enough. If somebody else can do more for their community, then I can do more for my community. It's just, it was powerful. It was a powerful moment for me. And she was a powerful speaker. I can't remember her name. I don't know if Heidi remembers, but she was just, wow, impressive.
Yes, yes. Who else wants to share a shift or because of a moment or a session, a shift in your perspective on leadership?
I'm
Yes.
happy to share. So for me, I mentioned the New Orleans session earlier, but that session for us was focused on resiliency and leadership. And, I think resiliency is just the name of the game, and everything we do today in order to continue to thrive and to adapt to all the shifts and changes that are going on in our world, right? So to me, I was just fully engaged, just took everything in that session of kind of ways that I can take things back in my leadership style and to my organization, especially in healthcare. As we know, there's, a lot of challenges that we face every day, and ensuring that we're caring for everyone and providing access to care to everyone. So one of the sessions, I took a quote away from that I really have just held on to. The quote was, "Lead with heart, lead with purpose, and be resilient in everything you do." And that to me just really sums up, kind of how I want to lead and how I kind of just remind myself in challenging times where I have to make tough decisions. And, obviously the center of what we do are people and taking care of patients. And I just keep that really close to my heart and in those discussions and in those sessions that we have, together with my teams to just, remain resilient, and also sharing that with our teams that are going through different challenges, whatever they may be. I like to pay it forward and really share those learnings with them. So that session, just all that 2.5 days that we had, all the sessions, the theme, I really gained a lot just from being able to immediately take those nuggets back to be able to implement into my day-to-day.
Thank you for sharing that quote with us. It's wonderful. We'll have to remember that and maybe put it in the chat. Maybe have you tell it to us one more time.
Okay.
Could you share it with us?
Yeah. Lead with heart, lead with purpose, and be resilient in everything you do.
All right. Lead with heart, lead with purpose, and you got to be resilient in everything you do. Thank you. Thank you. So we have it going across the screen. That's a good one. Danine, what about you? Was there a moment or a session that shifted things for you and your leadership perspective?
Dr. Geneva, I went through the class 13 years ago. So it's been a minute. I think I'm sure there were moments, like, you're always self-reflecting in terms of how you show up, and you want to show up better, to get the best out of the people around you. So, there isn't a particular session. It's just been a while, but I'm sure I've had the same experiences that Sarah and Yamika talked about.
Well, one of the things that you said, I think that was so important and picks up again on the benefits of a program like this is the opportunity to self-reflect. And that sometimes you can't recall those specifics, but you know that you took that time to think about it, and then look where you are now. And I know there was probably plenty of stuff that worked for you, because look at how you have progressed in your career. I mean, it's been extraordinary. And so I appreciate you sharing, reminding us about that opportunity to self-reflect and take that time to do that. And for those of you who may just be joining us, we are talking with the powerhouse team from Leadership Women, who do an incredible amount of things for women in leadership. But one of their special features is a program called Leadership America, where you have the opportunity to not just visit 3 cities, but really expand your network, your experiences, upgrade your leadership, and in fact, learn all about leadership away from home. And so we're exploring and thinking about and talking about the benefits of that. And so we're delighted if you're on IG or YouTube or Facebook or LinkedIn. If you have comments or questions, please put them in the chat. And I see we have a couple of questions. So, I want to jump right into at least one of them. I think we heard something about this, but we'll ask it again. What are the benefits to stay connected beyond the leadership woman experience? So, you have this year, I guess it is, Heidi, that you spend together, but then life happens afterwards. So what are some of the benefits about that afterlife, after the Leadership America experience?
Well, we tend to, as you might notice with several of these women on the screen, we tend to hold on to these women once we get to know them. Okay. And we want them to continue with us. We have a suite of different things. Once you've graduated from the Leadership America experience, you have the opportunity to join the organization for just a minimal amount every year. And through that opportunity, you are connected to all of our graduates throughout all of the years that we've been doing this. It's numbering in the 6,000s or so now. You have the opportunity to stay connected to us through some virtual programming and news, continuing on with other programs like our Leadership Encore program, which is kind of a retreat style program with you have continued learning. You can go on our Leadership International program. I know Sarah is a big fan of both of those programs and both of those experiences as well. And even so, even if you're not interested in doing something that large, you have the opportunity to continue on with Leadership America with lifelong learning privileges. So if you are a member of the organization and you also are a graduate, you can come back to any sessions in the future and continue lifelong learning with us and join future cohorts for 1 or 2 or 3 sessions throughout the year to continue this. This is certainly not a one and done for us. We want to continue on and really show opportunities to you wherever you are in your space and come back and see us whenever you like.
Mm-hmm. And Heidi, while I have you, while you're talking about this, I want to, so that our listening audience can get an idea. What is how do you apply? Who should apply? Who should not apply? And let's also talk about the money, okay? Because obviously this is a cost, and we want to talk about this. In fact, we also wrap into your response. We have a question from our listening audience who says, with financial challenges, there is limited support for professional development opportunities. And so what kind of strategies would you suggest to advocate for your personal growth, financial and time investment, particularly for those who might be interested in the Leadership America program? What can they do to advocate?
Absolutely. So our applications for our 2026 program are open right now. They're on our website. It is www.leadership-women.org. So we can send that out, or you can put that on the screen. We have several different programs we offer. Go to the Leadership America tab, and the application is open right now. So we'd love to hear from you. This is a program for established women leaders. We define that as someone who's been working in this space for a little bit. Certainly, and it's not a 25-year commitment or anything like that, but someone who is already established and working in leadership roles and interested in these national scope issues that we talk about. So anyone can apply from any state, of course. We really endeavor to keep the tuition as low as possible because we want to create an access point. It is a $4,000 tuition for the entire year. That includes virtual programming and includes your proprietary app. It includes all 3 of the sessions once you arrive on site. So once you arrive, all your meals, all your, the food, the transportation to the programming, the speakers, all of that is included. You just have to get to the city. And of course, we have, discounted hotel rates and things like that we arrange and do all of those things for you. We really try to create this curated experience where we know women are already giving at a very high level, obviously, professionally and personally. And we try to just create an environment for you just to come and receive. If you just get there, we're going to take care of everything for you. We also offer scholarships. So please indicate that on your application, and there are scholarships available for this year coming up. So we really try to make it as easy of an entry point as possible. I mean, certainly that $4,000 number, exists, but there are conferences that last just 3 days and you don't leave a convention center for that kind of money versus getting out and being able to travel and experience and have these really uniquely curated experience within this cohort of women for an entire year experience.
Terrific. Yes. And as we've talked about, the benefits just keep on going. They just keep rolling and rolling, the connections and all of that. And, one of the questions and I think this was Let J. Will, who asked about the finances, et cetera, and the strategies to advocate. So if all of you could weigh in on this, what would you say to your boss, the company owner, the person who would make a decision about you going, participating, paying for it, et cetera? What do you say?
Before when these women answer, I also want to say there is some ROI points on our website that you can present to your employers and to your stakeholders as well. So that's one opportunity to look at.
So you've got them bulleted out for us, the ROI. All right.
There are some, yes, absolutely, some language you could use there.
Okay. So Sarah, can you weigh in on some return on investment?
Let me tell you, when I got there and I made connections, I still have phone numbers that I can reach out to and say, hey, I have a question. What do you think about this? Or this is an opportunity that's come to me. What can you give me some guiding words? And that ROI pays for itself. So for those of you that do have employers, go and talk to them about how your leadership, you being filled by the styles and the education that you get from these different cities and different states that you get to bring back, how you're going to be such a better leader within your own field and your own company, right? And so many women, we give and we don't fill our cup, we get drained. And sometimes we can become bitter, we can become upset, we can be sad and depressed, and we don't even know it while we're working because we're just the ho-hum of everyday life. But when you get out, you experience, you see higher levels of leadership, you get revived in your strength and your passion, you come back home with that passion and you just want to give it back, right? And so one of the questions that was in the chat was, how do you, as you lift, how do you climb? And one of the ways to climb is by encouraging other women to do the same, helping sponsor a woman, helping, get women to apply and helping them speak to their boss about the why it's important for them to be involved and why it's important for them to come, and also create a sponsorship where these women, a lot of these women serve on so many different boards where they are locally. They can go to those board places and say, hey, would you sponsor a $250 program to me? And go around to your board members and say, can you give me some of this money so that I can take and apply for this huge leadership position and bring some of that knowledge back to the board that I continue to serve on? And people are very supportive, especially of people that have served in the community. So there's lots of opportunity out there that sometimes we don't take advantage of because we're shy. But I'm telling you, don't be shy. get yourself in there and take this program. It's truly, truly amazing. And I bring women from all over the United States. Apply, because it's important.
I love it. Thank you for sharing those strategies. And what a incredible example of sponsorship. Because it's important. We can mentor. We should mentor as role models and as women leaders. But when you can sponsor, when you can open that door, make that specific opportunity available to another, that is so important. Sarah, thank you for bringing that up and those strategies and being a role model yourself. Anybody else want to weigh in on strategies that can help if you're trying to get to this program and but just need some financial sponsorship or help? And we're so delighted, Rosalind Denning, who is here in Detroit, one of our jewels and gems in Detroit, who's on the Leadership America board, is also a chair of the scholarship committee. Any other strategies anyone want to weigh in on? And I love that you have them identified too, Heidi, on your website, and we're continuing to stream that web address. Anybody else want to weigh in on this one? Okay, so one of the things that I think is so important for us to talk about. Oh, did I hear? Oh, Yamika, yes, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I agree with everything Sarah had mentioned earlier. I didn't want to repeat everything that she said.
Oh, okay.
I agree. I think it's really about having a plan and going in and saying what you're going to gain, having those bullet points, and being able to come back and share, and then that will help others be able to go from your organization. I think it's important to be able to come back and have something to bring to the table. So,
Absolutely. So, I'd like to, as we're winding down, I'm really interested in the impact that you all bring as leaders in your respected areas. And I'm really interested in the impact that Leadership America had and still continues to have on the way you lead today. I'm assuming that there were some differences that occurred in how you lead as a result of this program. Would you be willing to share that?
This is Janine. So I think for me, it was leading more holistically. Sometimes you can just be focused on the grind of the job, so focused on the metrics within your particular area that you forget that you're in such a great position to help others outside of maybe the business metrics you need to meet. And that opened up my eyes, really just leaning more into the community, leaning more into developing a very diverse succession plan, making sure you're, helping the women that will hopefully be you one day, and, giving them the tools, the skills, the opportunities, the exposure they need, so they can benefit from the same experiences I got to benefit from. That's what Leadership America did to me. And then every now and then Heidi will tap on me, and I love it. You know what I mean? It's an opportunity to engage with a new cohort. I love how Yamika said it just fills my cup. You know what I mean? It just makes me so happy to be a part of it. So that'd be my feedback.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. You lead in a more holistic way now, and that's so extraordinarily important, and such an important aspect of leadership today, as we need more of that authentic leadership, more of that, with the technology, that high tech, we need much more of the high touch of leadership. And so thank you for sharing that. Tell me some more about how leadership was in. Yes, Yamika, please.
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in. I would say that I'm more intentional about self-care, the importance of self-care. We actually had a session. I mean, I've never in my life had a session on self-care in any conference that I've ever attended. It's not something that's discussed a lot. You know, we don't talk about taking care of ourselves as leaders and as women, honestly. You know, we take care of everyone else but us a lot of times, and we put everyone else first. So it was just really nice to kind of just have that moment to really reflect on our, you know, are we taking care of ourselves as leaders? Are we really doing the things we need to do to practice self-care? And are we also encouraging those that we lead to do the same? And so I feel like coming back from that, I have been, you know, practicing that more, figuring out ways that I can have that balance more as far as taking care of myself, and so that I can be the best for my teams and for, you know, the work that I do, and encouraging others. And, you know, because we all have lives outside of work, and I just think it's important that we have that balance. And I just think it's something overall that we don't always do the best of prioritizing ourselves. And so that's one thing that I took away that have really been able to also implement in my own style of leadership when I need to have that self-care time.
I love it. I love it. And you got that experience. Well, you said it was the first time ever that you went to a conference or someplace and there was a session on self-care.
Yes.
And that work-life balance. Yes. Well, that's a biggie there. It's just yesterday, I had a young leader ask me, you know, what's that one piece of advice? And, you know, you always get that, you know, if you've been in a leadership position. And, you know, I've been in this business for 40 plus years and run organizations and now run my own business. And it's a frequent question. And she was totally shocked when I said the one piece of advice that I'd give you as a leader, if you want to grow and, you know, just accelerate your career, is to take care of yourself. And we forget it so often. But it really is having that energy, having that, and it's just not the physical, but also your mental, your social, your spiritual, taking care of. And so thank you for sharing that with us. And Sarah, how about you?
I just want to touch on what was already said about how you meet these women and you collaborate. You learn so much about yourself and your self-care needs and the connections that you make. Truly, Leadership America for me was the icing on the top. After doing Leadership Texas and then being able to propel myself into Leadership America, learn at a bigger level what these different states are doing for their communities, learn what these women are doing for their communities, and then being able to do Leadership International and being able to do Leadership Encore and being able to continue to grow myself. So not only do I get to encourage other women to join and to apply, but if there's a session I want to go to or a state I want to learn about, I get to continue to go at a much lesser cost to me just to pay for the platform and the program to continue to thrive in filling my cup. So it's just the process. And when Heidi mentioned earlier that they basically set it up to give you the experience, it truly is, because as women, we have so much on our plate. And then you travel and you're like, now I got to do this. Now I got to do that. They even tell you how to dress like this. You're going to be walking on this day. You're going to be outside, dress appropriately. This is where you're going to be at. They give you the agenda. They tell you exactly where you're going to be every single hour. They put your food at your table. So you don't even have to think about what you're going to eat. Like, it is just so well done so that you as a woman, you just show up with your mind open, away from your phone, away from your computer, away from your family, away from daily activity. They truly say to you, leave your laptop in your room. When you get back from your session, you can go to your work, but truly stay engaged and focus on the full day experience. And when you truly do that, and you're paying for this, right? Or your boss is paying for this. So you truly want to take it all in. Wow, you will leave so impacted. And we keep saying we fill our cup because we as women, we give, but nobody pours into you with so much love. And they talked earlier, I think it was Mrs. McDowell that said that, you know, you go in and you learn all these different things and you meet all these different women from all these different industries. You forget all these different industries and how they are so impactful to each and every single one of us. But you also forget that we women, we want to walk into a room and feel safe. And we want to walk into a room and feel loved. And that's when you walk into these rooms, you feel safe and you feel loved. And that is how you fill your cup. So truly an experience.
Thank you so much for sharing that. What a wonderful, wonderful perspective. And by now, anyone who's listening probably wants to go, wants to sign up, wants to go. So Heidi, tell us one more time, right now, I know many of you are very interested. You want to take the next step and look at it, explore, apply.
Yes.
What do people have to do? And where are you going in 2026?
Oh, yes. I didn't mention that. So our applications are open right now. We are filling our class for the 2026 cohort. The website is www.leadership-women.org. And I know your producer put it up on the screen, so thank you so much for that. This year, we're starting our sessions in April. The dates and cities are listed there on the webpage for Leadership America. We're starting in Atlanta, Georgia this year.
Ooh,
fantastic
wow.
city. Going to Chicago, Illinois, and we're ending our year in Seattle, Washington.
Ooh,
so really a great broad perspective of different cities around the country where we are going to be featuring our graduates in those areas, the issues that are happening in those areas, and thought leaders, and going to have a really incredible year this year. We're very excited about these cities. We have 8 cities of excellence and centers of excellence around the country that we visit every year on kind of rotating basis. And next year, come on and join us. Atlanta, Chicago, Seattle. We'd love to see you there.
Love it, love it, love it. So as we're winding down, I've got one more thing I want to know. We keep, the whole theme of this has been, the leadership advantage away from home. So I'd like you all just to leave us with, well, what do you think that leadership advantage is? What is it? Why is a national leadership experience so important, but more so essential for right now? Yamika.
Well,
I was going to come to you last to close out. Okay. But we come to you last to close that out. Yamika, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm happy to jump in. I'd say that national perspective, it broadens your perspective. It gets you out of your box of thinking different ways, different perspectives. I just feel like it's important for us to sometimes be uncomfortable. We get into where we know everything in our area and our comfort zone. And so it's nice to be uncomfortable and learn kind of outside of our norm and outside of our familiar, type settings. And that helps you grow and it stretches you in a different way when you do that. And I think that's one key that I would say is a nugget as far as the national, opportunity and just obviously the network.
Yeah.
You never know where you may end up in the world, and it's great having amazing connections across the country.
Mm-hmm. All right, that's stretching. That's a beautiful thing. Thank you. Deneen, yes.
Yeah, for me, we're like you have to look externally if you want to grow. And for me, you can learn a lot by looking at other disciplines to see what they're doing that's transferable to drive improvements in your own area. So, and to gain a network while you're doing it is just something that carries on with you. So that's why I would encourage everyone to take advantage of this national platform.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Sarah?
I just feel that every woman deserves this. Every woman out there who is showing up in her community, who's showing up for her family, who's showing up for her job, deserves the opportunity to be loved and to be educated in a space that is safe for her and that will bring her grounding. Because it has also taught me what things to say no to. It has taught me that if I truly want to get to the next step, I have to have development in other ways. And so it has really, really grounded my ability and my love for myself. And I'm truly grateful to Leadership Women for the resources that they provide and for the experience that they have given to me and to all the women that I'm bringing along with me.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for sharing that. Heidi, close us out.
Well, I would just echo some of the comments that some of these graduates have said. You know, the decisions that leaders are making today and are shaping the country, they don't just stop at city or state lines. Things like economic shifts or workforce dynamics, policies, social changes that are happening, those are all, universal. They excellent leaders can be excellent locally, but still lack the broader context. So a national experience really helps leaders, we like to say, see the patterns, not just the problems. And it makes decisions once you return home broader because you understand how these systems kind of fit together. So it's really a way to level up and really kind of broaden your experience and your horizons. And that is what takes you to the next level as a leader.
Thank you so much. Each and every one of you just have brought just such incredible perspective and helped us understand ways in which we can, in fact, upgrade, level up, accelerate our leadership. And so to each of you, Yumika, Danine, Sarah, and Heidi, want to say a big thank you for not just sharing with us the details of a program, but really for being focused on helping lift all of us in leadership, because as we lead, we can change. And as we change, we make it better for our children and families. So thank you all so much for being a part of this conversation. So I hope you all enjoyed the conversation today as much as I did. And it was my pleasure to have this special edition of Ignite to Impact so that we could hear from leaders across the country who are involved in making change in their own neighborhoods and homes and being on the national scene by having those connections. I remember very clearly a real spike that happened in my own career was when I joined a national organization. And I was, with United Way at the time, and there was this national committee that was formed. And once I went to it, I just got my eyes open so wide. I was young in my career, but it made a difference. And then through every major role that I had in my career, whether it was running, as leader of United Way, as leader of a national foundation, as running my own business, I made sure that in my portfolio, I had national experiences. And so this is one of the best ones that I've seen in a long time. So I hope you take advantage of it and visit Atlanta, Chicago, Seattle this year and meet just a whole incredible crew of extraordinary women who are doing wonderful things across the country. And that way you can learn how you get the leadership advantage with not being at home. So I hope you enjoyed it. We have all kinds of comments in the links, in the link, and we have all comments and link information for you in the comments. So I hope you'll take advantage of it all. See you next time. And remember to join me every Wednesday, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, where we talk about all things midlife reinvention and leadership, especially if you're a woman over 50 who is thinking about your next move. See you then. Bye.